Many retirement calculators tell you the wrong number for a 30-year retirement, and the mistake isn't what you think. Today, we're covering 4 specific strategies that form the foundation of any 30-year retirement plan. By the end, you'll understand exactly how to approach both the portfolio side and the lifestyle side of funding a retirement that could last 3 decades or more. But first, I'm Patrick, and I'm the founder of Shope Associates. We help people navigate the unique challenges of modern retirement planning, especially when you're looking at potentially living well into your 90s. I'll start with the reality we're all facing. According to the CDC, in 2023, life expectancy at age 65 was 19.5 years, 18.2 years for males, and 20.7 years for females. But if you're healthy, educated, and have made it to at least age 65, your odds are much better than the averages. The odds of making it to 90 are about 43% for men and about 53% for women, and roughly 44% that at least one member of a couple reaches age 90. This brings us to our first strategy, dynamic withdrawal rules. The classic 4% rule was designed for 30-year retirements, but it assumes you'll take the exact same amount every year regardless of market conditions. That's like setting your car to cruise control and never adjusting for hills or traffic. It works, but it's not optimal. A solution is adopting a guardrail strategy. Rather than withdrawing a fixed percentage each year, this approach sets guardrails, an upper level and a lower level boundary for your withdrawal rate based on your portfolio value. Here's a hypothetical example of how this might work. Let's say that you have a $1.5 million portfolio and you want to withdraw $75,000 in year 1. That's 5%. You set guardrails at 20% above and 20% below that rate. If your portfolio grows and your withdrawal rate drops to 4% or below, you can increase your withdrawals. But if your portfolio shrinks and your rate climbs to 6% or above, you reduce your withdrawals by about 10%. Historically, financial markets generate positive returns about 7 out of every 10 years. Based on this data, the guardrail strategy should lead to more years of comfortable spending than years when you need to cut back. The key insight that you're adjusting your spending based on what your portfolio can actually support. The second strategy is planning for an evolving asset allocation. Here's something that surprises people. A 30-year retirement might actually require you to stay more invested in growth assets longer than you think. If you retire at age 65 and you live till age 95, you're investing for growth over 3 decades. If you shift too heavily to bonds and cash early in retirement, inflation typically becomes your biggest enemy. Over 30 years, even modest 3% inflation means that your cost will more than double. A portfolio that's too conservative might preserve your principal, but it leaves you unable to afford your lifestyle in your 80s and your 90s. For a 30-year timeline, you might need to stay closer to 60 to 70% in diversified stock investments well into your 70s, then maybe gradually become more conservative. Everyone's situation is unique, so consider speaking with a financial professional to see what asset allocation actually makes sense for you. The third strategy is mapping your spending phases. Retirement isn't one long, flat line of expenses. There are typically 3 distinct phases crucial for a 30-year retirement plan. First, the go-go years, usually your 60s and even your early 70s. This is typically when you're healthy, active, and you want to travel, pursue hobbies, maybe help with your grandchildren's activities. Your spending might actually be higher than even during your working years. We might be planning for $90,000 a year during this phase. Then comes the slow-go years, typically between your mid-70s and your mid-80s. You're still independent and you're comfortable, but you're probably not taking as many of those big trips or expensive adventures. Your discretionary spending drops, but healthcare costs might increase. This might look like $70,000 a year. Finally, the no-go years, usually mid-80s and beyond. You're likely dealing with more health issues, possibly needing assistance with some daily activities. Travel and entertainment expenses drop significantly, but healthcare and care-related expenses can increase substantially. Your total spending might be $65,000 a year, but a larger portion goes to medical and care costs. Understanding these phases helps you avoid assuming you need the same amount of money every year for 30 years. It also helps you prioritize. If you want to do something expensive and adventurous, then consider doing this in the go-go years. The fourth strategy might be the most important: maximizing your guaranteed income foundation. One of the best ways to make your portfolio last 30 years is to ask less of it. This is where Social Security timing becomes absolutely critical. Here's the math many people miss. Let's say that your full retirement age Social Security benefit would be about $2,500 a month. If you wait until age 70 to collect, that becomes $3,100 per month. That's a 24% increase. But more importantly, that's an extra $600 per month or $7,200 per year that you don't have to withdraw from your portfolio. Over 30 years, that's $7,200 per year from Social Security instead of your portfolio, which could mean your portfolio lasts significantly longer. Think of it this way: every dollar of Social Security is a dollar you don't have to generate from investments. And Social Security comes with inflation protection built in, something that costs a fortune if you try to buy it from an insurance company. Now, delaying Social Security isn't right for everyone. If you're not healthy, you need the money immediately, or your family longevity isn't that great, taking it earlier, it often makes sense. But if you're planning for a 30-year retirement, maximizing Social Security often provides the strongest foundation. Let's take Sarah, age 62 with about $1.2 million saved. She can retire now and take Social Security immediately, getting about $1,800 per month. Or she could work 3 more years, delay Social Security until age 70, and collect $2,800 per month. You see, in the first scenario, she's asking her portfolio to provide most of her income for potentially 30 plus years. In the second scenario, she has a much larger guaranteed income base and asks less of her portfolio. Even though she worked 3 extra years, the delayed Social Security often more than makes up for it over a long retirement. Here's what this means practically. With the guardrail strategy, evolving asset allocation, realistic spending phases, and then maximized Social Security income, someone with $1.5 million might be able to sustain $80,000 to $90,000 in spending during their early retirement years, knowing it will naturally adjust over time. The key insight is that a 30-year retirement plan isn't about finding one magic number and sticking to it forever. It's about building a flexible system that can adapt to markets, to your changing needs, and to the reality that your money needs to last potentially 3 decades. Planning for longevity is actually a gift. It means you have the time to let compound growth work in your favor, make strategic adjustments along the way, and truly enjoy the retirement you've worked so hard to build. The challenge with a 30-year timeline is that there are a lot of moving parts: market performance, healthcare costs, family situations, tax law changes. All these things can impact your plan significantly over 3 decades. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our weekly videos on retirement planning strategies. We upload a new video every Thursday on unique retirement insights and considerations. And if you want to get a general idea of where you stand with your own retirement planning, I've linked our planning software in the description below. It'll give you a nice personalized assessment based on your specific situation and help you see which of these strategies might be the most important one for your plan. Again, this is Patrick Shope, and I'll see you next Thursday.